Lena always said our marriage was solid because we trusted each other. I believed her until the small things began to change. Why are you home so late? I asked one night as she dropped her bag by the door. Traffic, she said quickly, not meeting my eyes, and a last-minute client meeting. You've had a lot of those lately, she sighed, brushing past me. Ethan, please. Don't start. I'm exhausted, I didn't argue. I just watched her disappear into the bedroom pretending everything was fine. But lately her phone never left her hand. Even when she slept, it rested under her pillow like a secret. At dinner the next evening, she glanced at my phone screen and frowned. Maya again? She's from work, I said. We're finalizing the new contract. Lena's tone sharpened. You two seem close. She's on my team, Lena. It's work. Her fork clattered against the plate. She likes you, Ethan. Don't pretend you don't see it. I almost laughed. You're jealous of Maya? I'm not jealous, she snapped. I just don't trust women like her. What kind is that? The kind that waits for cracks to show. Her words stayed with me longer than they should have. That night, while I lay awake, I caught her typing on her phone under the blanket. The glow lit her face, half worried, half guilty. When I moved, she locked the screen instantly. You texting your mom this late? I asked. She flinched. Just Sophie. I nodded, but the air between us turned cold. Days passed and the gap between us widened. She started dressing up for business trips and avoiding eye contact when I asked when she'd be back. One morning, I walked into the kitchen and found her laughing at something on her phone. The sound used to be my favorite thing. Now it felt foreign. What's funny? I asked. She looked startled, then forced a smile. Just a meme Noah sent. I froze. Noah, my brother Noah. Yeah, why? I shrugged. Didn't know you two talked much. She looked irritated. You overthink everything, Ethan. Maybe I did. Or maybe I was finally starting to see. That night, I sat alone on the couch, scrolling through old photos of us, her smile, her eyes, the warmth that once filled our small apartment. I remembered the night she said she wanted a simple life with me. Now she was barely home long enough to finish a cup of coffee. Maya noticed the change before anyone else. You look like you haven't slept in days, she said at work. Yeah, I muttered. Married life, she tilted her head. Trouble? I hesitated. Nothing serious, just distance. She gave a small, knowing smile. Distance doesn't happen for no reason. Someone always builds it. I didn't answer. I wasn't ready to admit what I feared. A week later, Lena came home past midnight. I pretended to be asleep. Her footsteps were soft, hesitant. Then I heard her whisper, too quiet for anyone else, but I caught it. I'm sorry, she murmured. Please don't text me tonight. My chest tightened. She wasn't talking to me. When she went to shower, she left her phone on the dresser. It vibrated once, screen lighting up. My name wasn't on it, but my brother's was. A message preview glowed in the dark. Can't keep this up. He's starting to notice. The words didn't make sense at first. My brain refused to connect them. Then it did. Noah, my own brother. The air left my lungs like someone had punched me. I stared at that small screen until the water stopped running. My hand shook, but I couldn't look away. When she came out, towel wrapped around her, she froze, seeing me holding her phone. Ethan, she whispered, color draining from her face. That's private. Yeah, I said quietly. Very private. She tried to reach for it, but I pulled back. How long? What? How long, Lena? My voice broke. How long have you been sleeping with my brother? Tears filled her eyes. It's not what you think. I laughed, a dry, broken sound. Then tell me what it is. She said nothing. Just stood there shaking. Was it the nights you said you were working? The client meetings? Or when you told me to stay away from Maya because she liked me? Her lips trembled. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did, I said softly. You killed something you can't fix. For a moment, neither of us moved. The only sound was the dripping of water from her hair. Ethan, please. No, I interrupted. You don't get to say my name like that anymore. I placed the phone on the bed, the message still visible. She reached for it, but I turned and walked away. In the hallway, my legs almost gave out. My hands were cold, my throat tight. I didn't cry. I just felt empty. Maya's face flashed in my mind, the woman Lena told me not to worry about. The irony burned deeper than the betrayal itself. Maybe Lena was right. Maybe I should have worried, but not about losing Maya, about losing myself. I hadn't slept in 3 nights. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that message. I can't keep this up. Noah. He's starting to notice. It echoed in my head until silence became unbearable. When Lena walked through the door Friday evening, I was waiting. "Where were you?" I asked quietly. She froze near the hallway, clutching her purse. "Work dinner, why?" "Work dinner, huh?" I stood, keeping my voice even. "Who was there?" Her eyes flickered. "You don't trust me anymore?" "I trusted you enough to not check your phone," I said. "Until I did." The blood drained from her face. "Ethan, please don't lie." "Not tonight." I saw the message. She took a shaky breath. "It wasn't what it looked like." I almost laughed. "Then tell me what it was." Her voice cracked. "It just happened. I didn't plan it." So it's true. My words came out quieter than I expected. "You and Noah," tears gathered in her eyes. "I'm sorry, sorry?" I repeated. "That's what you have for me?" "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she said. "He was just there when you weren't." "When I wasn't?" My chest tightened. "I was always there, Lena, every damn day. You were the one who left." She shook her head, tears spilling. "You don't understand, then make me understand." My voice rose. "Tell me how my wife ends up in bed with my brother." She pressed her palms against her face. "I was lonely, Ethan. You were distant, distracted with work." Noah listened. "He made me feel—" "Don't," I cut her off. "Don't finish that sentence." Her hands fell to her sides. "I love him." The room went silent. My heart stopped beating for a second. "You what?" I whispered. "I love him," she said again, softer this time, as if the words would hurt less the second time. I stared at her, this woman I built my life around, and felt something inside me break, clean and quiet. The front door opened. Noah stepped in, keys jingling, eyes landing on me. He froze for half a second, then smirked like he'd been expecting this. "Ethan," he said coolly, "didn't know you'd be home." "Apparently you know a lot of things I don't," I said. Lena whispered, "Noah, please." "No, let him talk," I snapped. "Go on, little brother. Tell me what you call this." He shrugged. "You and Lena were falling apart long before I showed up." "Falling apart?" I laughed bitterly. "You mean before you started sneaking around behind my back?" "It wasn't like that," he said. "You don't own her." My fist clenched. "She was my wife." Lena stepped between us. "Stop it, both of you." I looked at her. "You chose him?" She couldn't meet my eyes. "I didn't choose." "You already did," I said. "The moment you let him touch you." Noah rolled his shoulders. "You're overreacting." My voice went cold. "Say that again," he smirked. "Overreacting. You were never enough for her, Ethan. Maybe it's time you accept that." I moved before I thought. My hand met his jaw with a crack. He stumbled back, cursing. "Ethan!" Lena screamed, grabbing my arm. I pulled away. "Don't touch me." Noah straightened, wiping blood from his lip. "Feel better?" "Not yet," I said. He smiled like the devil himself. "You'll regret this." "I already regret a lot," I said quietly. "But not that." Lena was crying now. "Please, Ethan, don't do this. Don't make it worse." "Worse?" I looked around the house. The framed photos, the wedding picture on the wall, the promises buried in dust. "It's already gone, Lena. You made sure of that," she sobbed harder. "I didn't want to hurt you." "Then why him?" I asked. "Out of everyone, why him?" Her answer was a whisper. "Because he made me feel alive." I stared at her like she was a stranger. "You killed me to feel alive." No one spoke after that. The clock ticked, the air heavy and sharp. I slipped my ring from my finger. "You once said you'd never take yours off." She looked down at her hand. Bare. That was all I needed to see. I walked to the door, grabbed my keys, and left. Behind me, she cried my name, but I didn't look back. Outside, the night was cold. My breath fogged the air. I drove without knowing where I was going, just away. Away from her voice, away from his smirk, away from everything that used to be home. Hours later, I found myself parked outside a rundown motel off the highway. The neon sign buzzed faintly, flickering like it might die any second. I checked in, dropped my keys on the table, and sat on the bed. The silence felt heavier here. No yelling, no lies. Just me and the sound of my own breathing. I stared at my hands, still shaking from the fight. I waited for tears that never came. It wasn't anger anymore. It was something worse, emptiness. I used to think betrayal felt like fire. But it doesn't. Fire burns quick. This was ice, slow, suffocating. Lay down and stared at the ceiling until morning light crept through the blinds. That's when I realized part of me had died tonight, and what was left didn't know how to live without her. The papers came in the mail 2 weeks later. No ceremony, no words. Just a signature that ended 8 years of marriage. When I dropped the pen, my hand wouldn't stop shaking. Lena didn't call. Noah didn't either. I heard through my mother that they'd moved in together. New apartment downtown. They look happy, she said over the phone, not realizing how the words cut. Good for them, I managed. I stopped answering calls after that. Friends faded like smoke. Too awkward to pick sides, too cowardly to stay. I quit the family business a week later. My father built it. Noah would ruin it. I didn't care anymore. When Mr. Grant called, his voice carried a calm I needed. You've got talent, Ethan. Don't waste it hiding. I'm not hiding, I said. Just breathing. Then breathe somewhere new. Come work with me. Start over. So I did. Grant's office was different. Quiet, respectful, free of ghosts. I liked that no one whispered my name in pity. I liked that Maya was there. She didn't ask questions. She just noticed things. How I kept my sleeves rolled even when it was cold. How I never stayed past sunset. How I never talked about weekends. One evening, she leaned on my desk while I packed my laptop. You know, you don't have to pretend with me. I froze. Pretend what? That you're fine, she said softly. You're terrible at hiding it. A tired smile tugged at my lips. You think I'm pretending? She shrugged. I think you're surviving. That's different, I exhaled. Surviving sounds generous. Then call it whatever keeps you standing. Her words hit something raw inside me. I hadn't realized how much I missed simple honesty. Everyone else treats me like I'm contagious, I said quietly. Like betrayal might spread if they stand too close. I don't scare that easy, she replied. I looked up. Maybe you should. Why? Because your wife cheated on you with your brother? Her voice stayed gentle but steady. That's their shame, not yours. The air between us thickened. For a second, I thought I'd forgotten how to breathe. I haven't told anyone, I said. Not even Grant. I know, she said. That's why you look like you're carrying a ghost. I laughed under my breath. Maybe I am. Maybe it's me. Then bury him, she whispered. I blinked. What? The version of you who kept forgiving people who didn't deserve it. Bury him? Her tone wasn't cruel. It was kind, but sharp enough to sting. I nodded slowly. Easier said than done. Then start small, she said, picking up my coffee mug. Like not drinking week-old coffee. Despite myself, I smiled. You really can't help lecturing, can you? Someone has to, she said, smirking. Grant's scared of you. He's scared of my silence. Exactly. She placed the mug down. You used to talk, didn't you? I don't remember, I said. Well, she replied, practice on me. I hesitated. You really want to hear it? She met my eyes. Only if you want to tell it. So I did. Slowly. Not everything, not the worst of it, but enough. How I found the message, how she confessed, how Noah smiled like he'd won something that wasn't his. Maya didn't interrupt, didn't pity me. She just listened, arms folded, eyes soft. When I finished, I realized the room was quiet. No hum of computers, no clock ticking, just the sound of my own voice fading. She said, that must have been hell. It was, I admitted. Still is. You'll get out, she said. One breath at a time. Her confidence felt foreign. Nobody had said those words to me since before everything broke. I asked, why do you care? She smiled faintly. Because I know what it's like to lose everything and still wake up the next day. Something about the way she said it, soft, certain, made me believe her. I nodded. Then maybe there's hope for me too. There's more than hope, she said, turning toward the door. There's life after funerals. Her words lingered long after she left. That night, I sat on my balcony, divorce papers on the table beside a half-empty glass. The The city lights blurred like stars underwater. I whispered to the night. Here lies the man who thought love was enough. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel anger, just silence, not the kind that hurts, the kind that heals. It started with a rumor. Grant leaned against my office door one morning and said, "You seen the news?" "No," I said, not looking up from the report. "What about it?" "Your brother's company." "The one he started with?" "Her." I paused mid-sentence. "What happened?" "Word is investors are pulling out. Missing money, shady bookkeeping. It's messy." I kept my tone flat. "Can't say I'm surprised." Grant studied me for a moment. "You're taking this well. What did you expect? Fireworks?" He shrugged. "Something," I gave a small smile. "Karma doesn't need an audience." He nodded slowly and left. When the door closed, I let the quiet sink in. Part of me waited for guilt to show up, some flicker of pity. It never came. "Just calm." 2 days later, a detective showed up. "Ethan Hale?" he asked, flashing a badge. "Detective Harris," I gestured to the chair. "Come in." He sat, pulling out a notepad. "I'm following up on a financial case. Your brother's company, Hale Dynamics. You familiar?" "Unfortunately. Records show some of your old signatures on a few early documents. We're verifying involvement. I left that company over 6 months ago," I said. "Anything after that isn't mine." "Do you recall who had access to those files after you left?" I looked him straight in the eye. "My brother. And his partner, Lena Grant?" he asked. I froze for half a heartbeat. "Lena Hale," I corrected quietly. "At the time," he nodded, scribbling notes. "We've got irregular transfers, big ones." "Looks like someone tried to cover tracks." I leaned back. "And you think I'm involved?" "Just covering bases." "Well," I said, "check the dates. You'll find my part ended before their lies began." Harris looked up. "No anger?" I smiled faintly. "Anger's expensive. I'm done paying." He studied me, then closed his notebook. "If anything comes up, we'll be in touch." "Sure," I said, standing to shake his hand. "Detective? Yeah?" "Tell my brother I said hi." The corner of his mouth twitched. "You think he'll need a lawyer?" "Oh," I said, "he'll need more than that." After he left, I sat by the window, watching the rain trace lines down the glass. I didn't feel vindicated, just steady. Like the universe was finally balancing a debt I'd stopped chasing. That night, Maya texted, "You okay? Saw the news, I'm fine. Just watching the storm. Coffee?" "Always." We met at our usual spot, a quiet cafe near the pier. The lights reflected on the wet pavement, soft and gold. She waved as I walked in. "You look too calm for a man whose brother's empire is falling," she said. "Maybe I've learned how to let things burn without rushing to grab a hose." She smiled. "That's poetic." "Unintentional," I said. "Just honest." We sat in silence for a moment, the hum of the espresso machine filling the space. Finally, she said, "I used to envy her." I looked up. "Lena?" "Yeah, the way people looked at her. Confident, flawless, everything together. I thought she had it all." "She did," I said, "until she decided it wasn't enough." Maya stirred her coffee slowly. "Now I just feel sorry." "Don't," I said. "She made her choices." "I'm not sorry for her," she said softly. "I'm sorry for the part of you she broke." I didn't know what to say. For months, people had either avoided the subject or treated me like I was fragile. Maya just said it, no pity. No hesitation. "I used to think," I said slowly, "that love meant fixing what's broken. Turns out sometimes it means walking away from it." She nodded. "And sometimes it means forgiving yourself for staying too long." I met her eyes. "You sound like you've practiced that line." She smiled faintly. "Maybe I have." The rain outside softened to a drizzle. For the first time in months, I caught myself smiling, not out of habit, but out of something real. Maya noticed. "There it is." "What?" "A smile that doesn't look like it hurts." I laughed quietly. "Don't get used to it." "Oh, I will," she said. "It suits you. We talked about work, music, nothing important. But every word felt like a small piece of normal returning. When we finally stood to leave, she said, "You know, karma's patient." "I've noticed," I said. "It waited for them," she said. "It'll reward you too." I shook my head. "I don't want rewards." "Then what do you want?" "Peace," she smiled softly. "Then stop waiting." "You already have it." I watched her walk toward her car, hair catching the light as she turned back and waved. For once, I didn't look away. On the drive home, the city lights blurred past, but my chest felt light, like the storm had finally passed. When I reached my apartment, I poured a glass of water instead of whiskey, sat by the window again, watching the reflection of my own faint smile in the glass. No fireworks, no revenge, just silence and peace, the kind that doesn't ask for attention, just arrival. The knock came just after midnight, soft, hesitant. I almost ignored it, but something told me to open the door. "Ethan," she whispered. Her voice was barely there. Lena. Her eyes were red, mascara streaked down her cheeks, hair damp from the rain. She looked smaller, like life had finally caught up to her. "I need to talk," she said. I stepped aside. "You have 5 minutes." She walked in, hugging her coat around herself. "You still keep it cold in here," she murmured. "It helps me think," I said. She looked around the apartment. "You've changed everything." "Change is healthy," I replied. Her hands trembled. "Noah's gone." I stayed quiet. "He took everything," she continued. "The money, the house, even the car. He said it was his all along. And God, Ethan, I don't even have a place to stay." "You always wanted freedom," I said. "Now you have it," she flinched. "Don't do that, please, not you." I folded my arms. "What do you want from me, Lena?" "I don't know," she said, voice breaking. "Maybe forgiveness. Maybe just someone who doesn't hate me." "I don't hate you," I said. "You're a lesson, and I've learned it." She took a shaky breath. "He ruined me, Ethan. You were the only one who ever loved me." Her words should have hurt. They didn't. They just echoed against the walls. Hollow. I looked at her and saw not the woman I married, but the stranger she became long before she left. "I buried you the day I walked out," I said quietly. Tears welled in her eyes. "Don't say that." "It's true," she stepped closer. "You can't mean that. You still have to feel something." "I do," I said. "Peace!" She laughed bitterly. "Peace? After what I did?" "Especially after what you did." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The rain tapped against the window, steady, merciless. Then came another knock. I turned. "Stay here." When I opened the door, Maya stood there, umbrella in one hand, coffee in the other. "Oh," she said softly, eyes shifting past me. "I didn't realize you had company." Lena froze. "Her," Maya blinked. "Me?" Lena's voice sharpened through the tears. "You're the one he defended. The one he said I didn't have to worry about." I sighed. "Funny, isn't it?" Maya looked at me, uncertain. "Should I go?" "No," I said. "You should stay." Lena's expression twisted. "Of course. Perfect timing." "I didn't plan this," Maya said calmly. "Neither did I added. "But life has a sense of humor." Lena turned to me, desperate. "You're with her now?" "After everything?" "I'm not with anyone," I said. "But I'm done being with the wrong one." She stepped forward, voice cracking. "I made a mistake. I thought he was different. I thought that he wasn't me." I finished. She covered her face with her hands. "He said all the right things. He promised. Promises don't mean much when they come from people who lie for a living." Her hands dropped. "You used to believe in me." "I used to believe in a lot of things." Maya stood silently by the door, watching. Not judging, just present. Lena's eyes flicked to her again. "You must be thrilled," Maya frowned. "About what?" "Seeing me fall apart." "I'm not," Maya said. "I don't take joy in pain," Lena scoffed. "Easy to say when you're the one standing in his apartment." Maya looked at me, then back at her. "You think this is about winning?" Lena's lip trembled. "It's always about winning." I shook my head. "Not anymore." Lena turned toward me, voice trembling. "Then what is this? Closure?" "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe just proof that time does what revenge can't." She stared at me like she didn't understand the words. "I thought you'd hate me forever." "I tried," I admitted. "But hate keeps you tied to the person who hurt you. And I don't belong there anymore." Her eyes glistened. "So that's it? You just move on?" "That's it," I said simply. She laughed, a short, broken sound. "You sound just like him now, cold." "No," I said softly. "I'm free." Maya placed her coffee on the table, her voice quiet but firm. "You should go, Lena. Lena looked at her. You think you know him? You don't. You didn't see what I saw. Maya nodded. You're right. I see who he is now. That shut her up. I opened the door. Goodbye, Lena. She didn't move. Please, she whispered, don't let me walk out like this. You walked out a long time ago, I said. Tonight just makes it official. Her tears spilled over, and for a second I saw the woman I once loved. The warmth, the laughter, the promises. Then it all faded into someone I didn't recognize. She stepped into the hallway, rainlight spilling over her. You were right, she said weakly. You always were, I didn't answer. The door closed between us, soft but final. Silence filled the room again. Maya exhaled. That was intense. Closure usually is, I said. She looked destroyed. She destroyed herself, I replied. Maya studied me. You okay? I think so. Good, she said. Because that took strength, I managed a faint smile. You were right, I said. About what? I should have worried about you, I said quietly. But not for the reason she thought. Her eyes softened. And what reason is that? Because you remind me that not everyone leaves. For the first time in years, I felt light. Not happy, just at peace. Outside, the rain eased. Inside, the air felt warm again. I closed my eyes and let the silence stay. I wasn't broken anymore. The new office smelled like fresh paint and second chances. Mr. Grant stood beside me, smiling. Not bad, huh? From rock bottom to this in under a year. I laughed quietly. You make it sound easy. It's not, he said. But neither are you. Maya walked in, carrying 2 coffees and a folder. You're both standing in the middle of the floor like it's a museum. Sit. Work weights. Grant chuckled. She's already the boss. She always was, I said, taking the coffee. Maya smirked. You say that like it's a bad thing. It's not, I replied. You're the reason this place exists, she raised an eyebrow. You built it, Ethan. With you, I said simply. Grant clapped my shoulder. I'll leave you two to it. Try not to fight over office chairs. When he left, Maya leaned against my desk. You think he knows? Knows what? I asked. That we're more than business partners, I smiled. He's not blind, her tone softened. It doesn't scare you? Starting again after everything? It used to, I admitted. Now it feels like breathing. She sat down across from me. I never thought you'd let someone in again. I didn't either, I said. Then you showed up with bad coffee and good timing. She laughed softly.
So that's how history remembers me.
Pretty much. She looked around the office, the white walls, the framed blueprints, the faint hum of life returning. It feels peaceful. Peaceful, I echoed. That's new for me, she tilted her head.
You think you've healed?
I thought for a moment. Healing isn't a finish line. It's just learning to live without bleeding every time you remember. She smiled gently. You sound like a poet now. Pain teaches vocabulary, I said. Her gaze lingered on me, soft but steady. You deserve this, Ethan, all of it. Maybe, I said. But deserving it isn't the same as believing it. She stood and walked around the desk, resting a hand on my shoulder. Then let me remind you until you do. I covered her hand with mine. You already have. Later that evening, I drove to the cemetery. The sun was sinking, painting everything gold. My father's name looked calmer than I remembered. I stood there for a long while before I finally spoke. I learned, Dad, I said quietly. Never chase what doesn't want to stay. The wind moved through the trees, almost like an answer. You were right, I continued. Sometimes losing everything is how you find what matters. I smiled faintly. I just wish you could have met her. You'd like her. She's everything Mom said love should be. Loud, honest, unbreakable. The silence felt warm this time, not lonely. When I turned to leave, I noticed the small things. The grass finally growing back, the sky clearing after weeks of gray. Even the air smelled lighter. Maya called just as I reached the car. Did you talk to him? Yeah, I said. What did he say? Nothing, I replied. But I think he heard me. She was quiet for a second. You okay? I am, I said honestly. For the first time, I really am. She smiled through the phone. I could hear it. Then come home. I'm making dinner. Home, I repeated, liking the sound of it. I'll be there soon. When I hung up, I sat in the car for a moment, watching the last bit of sunlight fade over the hills. The world felt different, not because it had changed, but because I had. I started the engine and whispered, "Here's to what's next." The road stretched ahead, quiet and endless, and for once, I wasn't running from the past. I was driving towards something worth keeping. The envelope came on a Monday morning. Cream-colored, expensive, pretentious, inside, gold lettering, Lena and Noah, their wedding invitation. For a second, I just stared at it, half expecting a punchline. Then I laughed quietly. Of course. When I showed it to Maya, she frowned. "They actually sent you this?" "Looks that way," I said. "Are you going?" I shrugged. "Why not? Maybe they need to see what peace looks like." She studied me. "You're sure it's not about revenge?" "No," I said. "It's about closure. The kind they'll never have," she smiled faintly. "Then I'm coming with you." "You don't have to." "I know," she interrupted. "But I want to." The hall was packed with flowers and people pretending to be happy. The air smelled like perfume and hypocrisy. As we walked in, whispers started. I heard my name float across the room like smoke. "Is that Ethan?" "With her?" "Oh my God, that's Maya." I didn't flinch. Maya slipped her hand into mine, steady, calm, deliberate. Noah saw us first. His face went pale, like someone had pulled the floor from under him. Lena turned, smile wide and fake. "Ethan," she said too sweetly. "You came." "Wouldn't miss it," I said. Her eyes darted to Maya. "And you brought..." "Her. Maya," she said politely, offering a small smile. "Congratulations!" "Thank you," Lena muttered, voice tight. Noah forced a grin. "Didn't think you'd show, brother." "Neither did I said. "But I figured someone should witness history." He chuckled nervously. "Still the same old sense of humor." "Not really," I replied. "The old me wouldn't have survived this room." Maya squeezed my hand gently. I could feel her pulse, steady, unshaken. Lena's smile faltered. "You seem different." "I am," I said. "Turns out peace fits better than anger." Her lips trembled slightly. "Good for you." "Good for us," I corrected, glancing at Maya. The guests began to stare openly now. Some smirked, others whispered. I didn't care. Noah cleared his throat. "So what's new?" "I started a company," I said. "We're doing well." "We?" he echoed. "Maya and I said simply. That did it." His grin vanished, eyes flickering with something sharp. Jealousy, maybe fear. Lena looked between us, her voice small. "So you two are..." "Happy," Maya said before I could answer. "Very..." The silence that followed was almost beautiful. Lena swallowed. "I'm glad you found peace." "I didn't find it," I said. "I built it," Noah forced a laugh. "You always were dramatic." "Maybe," I said. "But at least I didn't destroy everything I touched." The words hung heavy. He looked away first. Maya tugged my arm gently. "We should sit." "Yeah," I said, smiling faintly. "Let's enjoy the show." During the ceremony, I watched them exchange vows. Two people swearing honesty they'd already broken. Lena's voice cracked halfway through. Noah's hand shook when he slipped on the ring. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. Maya leaned close, whispering, "You okay?" "Better than ever," I said. "This isn't pain anymore." "It's perspective," she smiled softly. "Then we can leave whenever you're ready." "Not yet," I said. "I want to see them cut the cake." When the applause finally echoed, I stood, buttoned my jacket, and turned to go. Lena called out quietly, "Ethan." I looked back. "Yeah? Thank you for coming." I met her eyes. "You're welcome," I said. "I hope you get everything you wanted." Her face fell. She knew what I meant. Outside, the air felt lighter. Maya slipped her arm through mine. "You handled that well." "I didn't have to handle anything," I said. "Karma's been doing it for me." She laughed softly. "So what now?" "Now," I said, smiling at her. "Now I start living." And as we walked away, hand in hand, I realized revenge had never looked this peaceful. The sea looked endless that evening, soft waves touching the sand like old friends saying goodbye. I walked beside Maya, the wind teasing her hair, the sky painted in shades of gold and gray. She slipped her hand into mine. "You're quiet again," she said. "Just thinking," I replied. "It's been..." What, 5 years since everything? 6, she said with a small smile. You still count? Sometimes, I admitted. Not out of regret. More like gratitude, she tilted her head. Gratitude for what? For the wreckage, I said. If it hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here with you. She chuckled softly. That's one way to thank heartbreak. It taught me what peace really feels like, I said. And what love actually means, she squeezed my hand gently. You always get philosophical when we walk by the ocean. Maybe it reminds me that everything keeps moving, I said, even after storms. We stopped near the water's edge, the tide brushing our feet. The salt air carried a strange kind of calm. Maya looked at me, eyes reflecting the fading sun. You ever think about them? Sometimes, I said. Mostly when someone mentions their names. But it's like hearing about strangers now. She nodded. I heard rumors. Something about Noah's company collapsing? Yeah, I said quietly. And a divorce soon after. Does it make you feel anything? I thought about it for a moment. No, I used to want that, some kind of cosmic justice. Now I just hope they find peace too. I know what it costs to lose it, she smiled faintly. That's growth. Or just exhaustion, I said, laughing under my breath. Maya leaned against me, her voice soft. You built something real, Ethan, out of ashes. I had help, I said. She grinned. I might have pushed you a little. More like rebuilt me entirely. Her laughter mixed with the sound of waves. You make it sound like I'm magic. You kind of are, I said. You turned my chaos into something worth keeping. For a while, we just stood there. No noise except the ocean. The peace didn't feel like an ending. It felt like breathing. Then I said it, the line that had been waiting for years. You know, it's funny. What is? How she warned me about you. Maya blinked, amused. She did? Yeah, I said. She told me don't get too close to her. She's trouble. Her lips curved. And you didn't listen? I laughed softly. I should have. You were the only thing worth worrying about. She smiled, slow, knowing, beautiful. Guess she was right about one thing then? Yeah, I said. But not in the way she thought. We walked again, the sun dipping lower. I watched her silhouette against the horizon, steady, peaceful, mine. I used to think love was about holding on, I said quietly. Now I know it's about who stays without being asked. Maya turned to me. And I'm not going anywhere. Good, I said. Because I finally stopped running. A long silence followed, comfortable, like a heartbeat that didn't need words. Somewhere behind us, the world kept turning, full of people chasing things that would never fill them. I'd been one of them once, but not anymore. I looked at her, at the life we'd built. Our small home by the coast, mornings full of coffee and laughter, evenings like this one. Simple, whole. I never thought peace could be loud, I said. But with you it hums, she smiled. Then let's keep listening. We stood there as the last light vanished beneath the waves. The sea whispered, the wind carried memories, and somewhere in the distance I felt the final thread of my past finally let go. For the first time, it didn't hurt. It just felt free.